welcome, and I hope you're doing well. This video I'll be showing you a step-by-step tutorial on how to replace an iPad 6th generation, and this model here is A1893. So these are the few tools that I need to use in order to get the screen replaced. First thing first, safety goggle is a must. You need a heat gun to heat up the cracked screen so that the adhesive would be easy to be removed. You need to have double-sided tape. This is adhesive double-sided tape. Prying tool, tweezer, a Phillips screwdriver, and of course you need to have a brand new screen for the replacement. So this iPad 6th generation, as you can see, this is the Touch ID home button. You want to use the same original Touch ID and transfer to the new screen. If you get a screen that comes with a home button on it, more likely your Touch ID would not work because it needs to have the original from Apple. Okay, so let's get started. First thing you need to do is make sure you have the safety goggle again. So at this moment here, I'm heating up the iPad screen. Get a Pry Tool and go ahead and try to open up the screen. If you feel like you're having a hard time, you can always come back and reheat the screen. Sorry, it's taking quite some time here. The way the iPad cracked, it just not good. Okay. Alright, so now I have the opening on the top. I can easily work my way around the bottom here. But first I need to clean off some of the mess. So just be very careful. They have all these tiny little glasses, broken glasses. Make sure that you clean it off properly, and it can be very dangerous when it gets into the eye or get into you basically. So okay, before I continue, I just want to tell you that the iPad screen, the home button is going through the bottom here. Okay, so this is the new screen. All right, so the home button goes underneath the screen, and the cable for the screen is going to be right on this side, on the right side of it. So the screen is going to be open this way. Okay, it opens to your right. So because it's a broken screen, we are not going to care about the cable, so you can cut it off after, but you want to be very careful with the home button. So the home button cable is going to run along underneath on the right side here. Okay, when it gets to this part here, you want to be very careful not to break the home button cable. Okay. Okay, so we're getting to the home button cable right now, so be very careful with it. Okay, at this point you can see that the home button cable is still intact and looks good. And this is the screen cable I was talking about. You can go ahead and cut it up. We don't need them because the new screen is going to be replaced with this one. So the important thing is that we need to separate the home button cable here. So some iPad is quite easy to fix, but for this iPad screen is quite difficult. The reason because the way it was cracked, it shattered into thousands of pieces here. So that's the reason why it takes such a long time for me to do it. But yeah, just be patient, slowly work your way around it, and always, if it feels like the adhesive is not softened enough, you can always come back and reheat it. Once you heat it good, then it's easier to come out. All right, so as you can see, I already have the home screen intact. Everything looks not good to me. And at this point, I'm just going to remove the bigger piece. Okay, I'll come back, clean up all these smaller pieces and broken pieces here. Okay, let's move on to the next part. Sorry, this is taking way too long just to remove the glass. I was not anticipate to be this long, but I guess the way the screen cracked, it's just time consuming. Okay, so the next part, the important part of it is I wanted to show you is the iPad's LCD screen. Okay, so there are 4 screws underneath the LCD, 1, 2, 3, and 4. You need to get them removed. So they are hidden underneath behind this black tape. Okay, so here's the thing you want to pay attention to. And I'm not sure why Apple does this, but if you know the reason why, please comment below. Now, they have 4 screws that hold onto the LCD. On top of that, they also put in this dark black sticky stuff, this gooey stuff underneath the LCD. And you can't open up the LCD unless you remove this black gooey stuff. It's like a glue. They kind of glue it underneath where the screws was removed. I'm not sure why they do it. I mean, if you have the screws on the LCD, that should be secure enough. The screen should not be moving, but they put glue on it, and you can't remove the LCD unless you scrape off the glue. So I'm using a tweezer here. You just kind of scrape the glue off. You can see where the glue is hidden right underneath. Okay, so once you scrape off the glue, you can see that the LCD is lifting off now. Okay, so you want to do this on all 4 sides. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And these are the black gooey stuff. Okay, it looks like I get more. Alright, that looks good. So you lift the LCD screen up, and the 3 more screws that is holding on to that LCD screen and get a plastic pry tool and there you go, you have the LCD screen removed. So you can come back, dust the LCD or just wipe it clean. Okay, this is the home button. I'm just trying to push it back in nicely. Alright, okay, so there it goes. Remember the 2 cables that we cut off earlier? You can go ahead and remove them. Right, that's the reason why I cut it off, because when you put a new screen on, you're not gonna need this one. Okay, so this is pretty much good to go. You want to come back here and work your way. Make sure every corner of the iPad screen is all clean. So when you put the double adhesive tape on, you wouldn't have all these broken pieces get stuck in between. So always double check, come back and check around, make sure you have all the broken glass pieces removed. Okay, here's the A-can duster. So I'm just gonna go ahead and spray it. And I'm gonna spray it on the LCD screen as well. Make sure the LCD looks clean. All right, so at this point, the next step I'm gonna do is be installing the new screen. So the new screen, first thing you want to do is to remove this plastic. There's a plastic here. Okay, once you have that removed, go ahead and remove this one. All right, so we have that going. So this is just a tape. I'm taping underneath the glass because all along the side here, those are actually a sensor, right? So when you touch it, it senses where your fingers are touching. So I'm using a tape here to cover up the sensor, because some of the new screen previously that I installed, the sensor is exposed. So what happened is that without you touching the screen, the exposed sensor would touch the screen on its own. So it's driving people nuts. So right here, what I'm doing right now is to covering up the screen sensor. Okay, that's what I'm doing right now. All right, so the new screen will be going back on here. Okay, and the home button will be going back to the new screen. So at this point, you want to make sure that the home button feels good on the other side. So I'm feeling the home button, make sure that the align is good. Okay, so this is right about perfect, and you can see when I press the home button, I can feel the click. Okay, so what you want to do here now is to get the an adhesive gel to tape onto this home button bracket here. Okay, so you do not want them to move around, just a tiny little bit. Okay, once you have that on, come back here and make sure the bracket is still in the right position. Yeah, it looks good. So every time I press it, the home button feels good. It clicks, it doesn't move. So now just let the adhesive to dry up. So put some pressure, not too much, just hold it until it dries. And it dries pretty quickly, maybe about 30 seconds to a minute, and it should just be all good and good to go. Okay, well, we are waiting for that, so I'll come back here and remove the plastic. Okay, so let me go ahead and put the screen back on. 3 screws. Okay, let's try to turn it on and make sure it works. All right, and at this point here, what I wanted to do is to put the 4 screws back on. And then this is the double-sided adhesive tape. You want to go ahead and tape all around the corner. And once you have that tape, and you can just close the LCD back on. Okay, so I'm not going to do that part. It's pretty straightforward, and I believe you can do it on your own. I'm just trying to cut down the video short. Hope that this video can help you with that. So thanks for watching, and I hope you have a good one. Take care.